This is Ed, and it's July 22, year 2022. I'm in San Diego, and you're on Global TV Talk Show, a unit of globalbusinessnews.net. We're joined today in Toronto by Emily Braun, who's an expert in international lifestyle consulting. Welcome, Emily. And we're joined by Claudia Palacios. I hope I pronounced that correctly. You're in Mexico City, and you're involved with a large engineering company called Worley, having to do with oil and gas. And welcome. This is your first time on our show, and I hope you like it. Rigo, thank you for doing this again. I think this is your number 4 with us, or 5.
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah, right. Thank you. And just quickly introduce yourself. I see your logo behind you, one of your logos, LATAM Talks. This is a talk show just like this.
Exactly. We just actually record a podcast between Claudio and myself about travel management. It was in Spanish, but this is designed for the Latin American community. And so far it has been very interesting. But yeah, LATAM Talks, it's my other job.
Yeah, that's cool. So Dave Edick and I have known each other now for about a year, and he's been on many of our programs, and we have even met face to face. And this is like, wow. Someday we'll all do that, right? Welcome, Dave.
Thank you. Glad to be here.
Great. Now, Dave's background has been in international business, living it and doing it, particularly in Russia and other places. And he's been involved in the seafood industry on a global basis. He's past president of the World Affairs Council in San Diego, and very active as well in the Sister Cities program. And San Diego is linked in that regard with Vladivostok in northern Russia. So welcome.
Thank you.
Dave.
So I'm also very active in the world of oil and gas, but also spent 3 recent years on the International Committee for the San Diego Association of Realtors, and we're on the border and with a lot of connections into Mexico, especially through now Tijuana and the cross-border express. A lot of interest in properties and experience throughout Baja California.
I have used the cross-border express airport, which is about 20 miles inland. And it works. It's very efficient for the Tijuana airport. And to Tijuana airport to where I'm sitting right now in Seaport Village in downtown San Diego is less than a 40-minute drive on freeways. But as the crow flies, in other words, straight line, it's about 20 miles. As I said, it's more inland. And Tijuana Airport is very efficient, modern. It's been around a long time, but it's been modernized and expanded. So it's good. Okay, let's go to Emily. You have been embarking on a Get Acquainted learning educational tour of Mexico.
I was trying to create educational tour for Mexico. I took on myself such a mission, but in regards to baby boomers, Americans and Canadians who were or still looking for retirement places, and Mexico is a known destination for retirees of North America.
Yeah, and very effective. She's done research. She's been on a program several times in Mazatlan and in Chapala. Yeah, right.
In all known expat locations, maybe not all, there are 32 states in Mexico. I didn't visit yet all, but half already.
Yeah, well, that's great. Okay, we're going to circle back to you. Okay, Claudia, so is Worley bringing people into Mexico as well as shipping people across Latin America and elsewhere?
Yes, that's correct. We have a lot of projects in Mexico currently. Some expats from our main headquarters in Houston, they're coming to to Mexico for a mine project that we have at the north of Mexico. And of course, colleagues from Latin America coming into Mexico, and from Mexico and the US to the rest of Latin America. We also have projects in Chile, in Argentina, Brazil, I think the main cities where we have this. Argentina they have huge projects over there also in the mines. So yes, we all these rosters, they come back and forth, they do their comes and goes, and this is a very complicated and dynamic operation. And David should know about this, of course. No?
I don't know.
Yeah. So Claudia, are the people that are being relocated, are they all types, or are they just one type of worker?
Well, of course, a different type of travelers, but mainly relocations. Of course, we have relocations from the US, in EMEA, and in APAC region. Of course, many rotation travel, particularly. But yes, mostly rotation.
Interesting.
Crew travel, yes.
Yeah, Rigo, what's happening with Newland Chase? Is the pace of activity picking up?
We are providing global immigration services to all of those companies and employees who are moving internationally, and providing and supporting immigration assistance. Yeah.
Yeah, and is the pace of relocations picking up?
So far, yes, it's growing. Just that the recent events after COVID and all the circumstances around the economy has been affected a little bit. But I think we're still relocating people, and hopefully this third quarter will be very active. Yeah.
Yeah, certain seems like it's starting out that way. So what should we talk about, Dave?
Well, I'm interested in this LATAM talks. I mean, there's a theme here that runs that runs through in terms of people cycling in and out of Mexico. Let's be specific, I guess. Definitely want to know more about that.
I have already idea. Just throwing up whatever get to my head when I was listening to Mexican colleagues, I would say. And maybe it's already on your plans, like working activities, but we know about war in Ukraine, and we know also that Russia became kind of out of many markets, and there are many Russians probably who are not agree with what's happening now in their home country, and they left Russia, but being still people with Russian passport, they really have trouble to get to many countries. And as far as I know, Mexico is one of not so many countries which is accepting Russians, Ukrainian, and Belarusians refugees. And just actually last week, I was speaking with one very intelligent, educated, and already experienced young man, which I already trying to connect with Rigoberto. And he's professional in Russian oil and gas market, which ran away from the Russia and looking for the employment. And it's a niche of professionals who are looking where to go. And actually he was looking and thinking about European market. And in my conversation, I point his attention, look what's going on in Europe. Like we've had conversation for a couple of hours. And I believe that the best what you can do under the circumstances, because no country wants you, I'm sorry to say, like other than Greece, Serbia, and Turkey, like what you can do. And he's now in Georgia, like Georgia, Tbilisi, Georgia. So the best, in my opinion, what you can do with your professional field and experience, it's in Mexico, which is developing these industries and actually accepting people. Am I correct? What you would say, Claudio and Rigoberto?
I think you have a point there, and the good thing is that that's because you know Mexico somehow. So you can talk about your own experience on what you have experienced during all this time working with Mexico. But I think that maybe these colleagues or these Russian people, I mean, since Mexico is so far away from them, they are not. It's not in their mind, or
Exactly.
they are not even considering it. But I think that exploring the idea, getting to have some research, maybe talk to people, no, they would feel much more comfortable to do this huge leap, because it's a quantic leap, just coming from Russia to a Latin American country with all the cultural differences. And well, what can I say? I'm Mexican, so we are super, we love hospitality. We like to embrace everyone, and we would like to learn from other cultures as well, no? So
I became ambassador for Mexico, even surprised, like I'm working with other Latin American and European countries, but somehow I became ambassador for Mexico, maybe because I'm relocating to Mexico. Actually, it's one of the reasons I'm relocating to Mexico, because I can tell you, there is a lot of similarities in mentality, in Russian mentality and Mexican mentality. And I know it from my personal experience. I know how I feel in Mexico, even without Spanish, even without speaking Spanish, I somehow feel at home. But, you know, it all depends, and different people have different priorities. But I'm trying to open possibilities of life, work, investment in Mexico for people from far away who know Mexico, you know, best case by Mayan ruins and, you know, some soap opera movies. But and Mexico is much more. It's actually,
yes, absolutely.
Yes.
But
thank you for that. Thank you for that.
Yes,
for promoting Mexico in a completely different way or point of view. No,
I'm looking at Mexico as the more I'm traveling, the more I'm discovering. I know about mining, like old mining, like Guanajuato, like what's going on in central Mexico, what kind of industries. And I feel that for these professionals who now kind of persona non grata in United States and Canada, and they looking to United States and Canada like, you know, there is a place to be. I'm saying relax, relax, relax. The best place where you can be welcomed at this point and get your, you know, ground and experience in North America, it's Mexico, because Mexico actually is North America.
Very much so. You know, from my days in Russia, novelas from Mexico were immensely popular. And anyone that's 40 years old will recognize Maria. That was a big deal. So I mean, there's you know, as Emily was saying, there is an experiential cultural connection now, very modern, but there's also a connection going back, this affinity between the Mexican Revolution history and the Soviet Revolution and all. There is a long connection here, and for people that are wanting to get away from the tragedy that has struck Ukraine and Russia, finding a place where they are welcome, where they can continue to grow their profession. And I mean, these are relatively young, experienced, technically competent and capable people, and they're looking for a place to land, you know. So of course, the immigration challenges are never ending, but this is beyond my expertise for sure. You know, and how to welcome and how to get that word out that Mexico is a place to go to consider.
So the people who have been on the show here in the past in different programs have mentioned that Russians with technology, we didn't at the time talk about oil and gas mining, we talked about tech, and 100,000 or so ran away from Russia, from Moscow. almost immediately after Putin started rounding up protesters in Moscow. All the tech people went across the border into Helsinki as fast as possible, and some of them, particularly those that had some connection or some money, they went to Dubai. And I was thinking, as you were just speaking about oil and gas, that's the UAE is a center. So I thought I'd just bring that up. That's all.
So is Russia. Mexico's got its own exciting challenges with the AMLO administration and the world of oil and gas and everything, and kind of a different concept about how to go about it. But I'm wondering indeed if there's room for Russian petroleum engineers, refining engineers, maybe in particular, with Mexico's new refinery plans. Is there room in that industry? Just curious. Enrico, you with the law firm and with all the connections abroad in many different countries, what are you seeing with this? And is there a channel of opportunity here that can be pursued?
Yeah, I mean, I think that there are a lot of opportunities. Not only, I mean, the energy sector, I would say that in fact it's huge, because at least myself, when I talk about energy, I think in oil and gas, but definitely it's bigger than that. And now with the lithium, I guess in Sonora, it's very close to the US. Well, they are discovering mining and they are working on it. Certainly that will bring the need of more professional people, so to say, to help here. Yeah, I had also the opportunity to talk with the connection from Emily while he was telling me some kind of things and concerns. It's all about keep moving and find new challenges, but at the end, he was eager to find new opportunities. Certainly the language could be the main barrier, but at the end, it's an option, and at least there's an opportunity versus other countries where the immigration process is more complicated, or there is, not that easy. So yeah, for sure here we have opportunities.
Fascinating, Dave.
I was just curious, Claudia, within Morley and transferring in people from abroad, from outside of Mexico, to work on projects, how much is language a factor, and how long are these rotations? How long do they last? How long
well, that would depend on the projects, because we may have projects coming from 6 months to 3 years. I mean, the following projects that we're getting are until 2025. So there's a lot of opportunity, and the language barrier is not that bad, because we mostly in Worley or in many global companies, we speak English as well, and maybe some other languages. I had the chance to learn German when I was living in Germany, of course, and I speak a little French. So I think that, and you know what, with languages, I think that we always support the colleagues when they come from the US or from other parts of the world, trying to make them feel comfortable. If they don't speak Spanish, okay, we help them. We teach them the main words besides of cerveza and where's the toilet, no? I mean, it's very common, or the bad words, but the idea is to make them feel comfortable, no? So honestly, I don't think, of course, you need to get the basics, and the good thing is that foreigners, particularly Europeans, they are so easy to learn, that in 3-4 months we can have a chat, small chat, of course, but it's very easy to learn. Of course, compared to Russian, because of the origin of the language, Slavic, if I'm not wrong, it's very different from Spanish or from Roman languages. But I think it's the attitude and the one you're talking to. So that's empathic, just empathy to the other, to one another.
So Claudia, is your position now more of a senior role, bringing together the function of mobility at the beginning of talent acquisition, not as an afterthought, but right in the beginning of finding talent and relocating them and having that conversation right up front rather than down the pipeline?
Well, my role is not particularly in mobility because we have a mobility team. However, implementing the whole strategy for a corporate travel program, which it didn't exist 3 years ago at Worley. The idea is to source the whole program, establishing an official booking channel, negotiating with our partners, hotels, car rentals, so we can move actually our people. And of course, we work together with our risk management team and mobility, of course.
Well, it's a fascinating conversation. I have to reiterate for our audience, which is global, that this is not scripted and not planned. And we have just intelligent people speaking. And this is the beauty of using this medium. I'll call it TV talk shows, it's Zoom. But it's the idea of using it right and bringing together people from across time and space, from across cultures. Dave, you probably wish you could have done this 20 years ago in your world.
For sure.
I'm guessing. Yeah.
Here we are. Fast forward. Yeah, this is good stuff.
So I welcome you to come back, Claudia, again when we do this. My company is in the public relations business, and we own and operate mediums. We have lots of opportunity for talking and with different audiences. We're embarking on a 50 between now and New Year's, where we're focusing in on geographic areas and companies and people within each area, just like this. So for instance, September 1 is our Scandinavia event, all right, which means Denmark, Sweden, Norway, and also Finland. And then in September, we're going to be doing a Germany show, and October 3 in London, and I'm not going, but we'll be there virtually. And then France on October 4, and Switzerland on October 5, and either October 6 or 7 in Italy, centered mostly around Milan. And then onward, Madrid, Vienna. I would love to do a show in Kiev and Poland somehow. And we'll also do Dubai and Tel Aviv and Latin America, of course, as the US and Canada also will be covered. So there'll be about 50 programs similar to this between now and New Year's. And we are sourcing for sponsors as well as speakers for some or all. So Claudia, I welcome you to come back again. So you must work closely with your Dallas and Houston people.
Correct, particularly with Houston.
Yeah.
Houston.
Right.
But since we are a global team, I work with my colleagues. We have 4 regional travel managers. My supervisor, she's in Houston. I have another colleague in Aberdeen, and the other colleague, he's in India, and myself in Latam. and also for some topics on the US and Canada.
Yeah. What about Singapore?
It's on the APAC region, so it's managed by India.
India. Okay, good,
Yes.
good. Because all of a sudden I'm getting introduced to people in Singapore, and
it's a big
which,
market
which is
as
really
well.
good and very strong.
Yes. Mhm.
Yeah, yeah. And I'm pulling together Australia and New Zealand in a program, one program. So all of this because of connections available through, of course, the internet, but Zoom and just bringing people together in a personal way, rather than just phone, but visual. And if people can relax in front of this little green light, then it becomes real. We just have to be careful and remember that we're on TV. And the whole world sees this. So Dave, let's begin to sum up. Again,
Yeah.
we're on this time thing
sure.
here.
You know, this is you never know where this what's going to come out of these conversations, and
Right.
I'm discovering here that that Worley picked up Jacobs Engineering a few years ago before the pandemic. I got lost in that. So Worley is a serious player. And I love Rigo with this QR code there. It works.
Indeed,
I think
yeah.
it works. So it's a great tool there. And Emily's fascinating, you know, with this very embedded cultural experience, cross-cultural experience in living. You know, it's an extension of that work abroad. Now it's live abroad and stay abroad. And so many different approaches to living abroad, or it's more than vacationing, that lifestyle, and you know what age group that you might be in. Fascinating group all.
So I read an article just yesterday, I forget where, somewhere online, I guess, that young American people in their 20s or even 30s, they can't afford to buy a home in the US to the style that they want, but they're going overseas. They're going to Mexico even, and Belize.
That's
And
why I started my business, because I
yeah,
realized years, like 2 years ago, that it's I've seen it's already started and it would be happening. Yeah.
So it's here to stay. So please come back to Global TV, and thanks again for your time here. And I'm in San Diego signing off. Have a nice weekend. Rigo in Mexico City, Claudia in Mexico City also.
Happy to be
Emily
here.
in Toronto, soon someplace in Mexico, right?
Querétaro.
Yeah, and Dave in San
Nice.
Diego. So there's going to be several broadcasts between now and September 1. So I'll be sending out invites if people want to tune in from the beach or the lake or the mountains or in an office. You're all welcome. And there's never a registration fee on Global TV Talk Show, where we all want sponsors, by the way, but never a registration fee. So with that, I'm going to stop talking. Rigo, thank you.
Enjoy, everybody.
Thank you, Ed.
Okay.
Thank you.
Bye-bye. Okay.
Thanks, Claudia.
Bye.
Ciao.
Bye bye. Adios.
Adios.